Have you ever wondered how a killer who tormented California over 50 years ago could still cause shockwaves in modern news?
Sam. In a long time?
Since I killed a kid.
Well, was it before December that you had the headaches?
Yes.
Were you in service that you might have had an injury in service? Did you ever fall out of a tree or downstairs? Were you ever unconscious?
Imagine if I told you that new findings, including suppressed DNA evidence, a likely suspect, and even a recently discovered victim, have surfaced, along with the riveting story of one of the most infamous unanswered puzzles in American history, the Zodiac Killer. These most recent developments will be explored. Late in the 1960s, Northern California was a scene of free love and cultural change. Though under the surface a storm was building, San Francisco was flourishing as the hub of this counterculture. Starting in 1968, the Zodiac Killer's reign of terror transformed California's peace-loving environment into one of anxiety and mistrust. All of it began on December 20th, 1968, the night thrilled to spend a peaceful evening together. Teenagers Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were on their first date. Ignorant of the fact their night would end in misery, they parked in a quiet lover's road close to Vallejo. Two teenagers were killed when a stranger approached their automobile and started fire without apparent motive. Though it was cold and mindless, it was not random. This was the first Zodiac, a deliberate action meant to start one of the most notorious death sprees in history. Less than a year later, on July 4th, 1969, the Zodiac knocked again. His victims this time were Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau, another young couple spending a pleasant evening together. The attack resembled the first. The couple was seated in their car when a man surfaced from the shadows. Gunshots came out without warning. Darlene died right away, but fortunately, Michael lived. Michael would subsequently describe his assailant to authorities as a stocky white male in his late 20s to early 30s, but beyond that there were few clear hints, wounded and in shock. But Michael's Zodiac wasn't complete. The Zodiac first directly encountered the authorities shortly following the incident. There was a terrifying phone call sent to the neighborhood police station. Calmly confessing to the crime, the speaker on the other end supplied comprehensive information not yet publicly available.
I have headache.
How long have you had those headaches, Sam? In a long time?
Since I killed a kid.
Well, was it before December that you had the headaches?
Yes.
Were you in service?
I also killed those kids last year, the speaker said, alluding to the first killings. The Zodiac had now made abundantly evident his need for recognition, but he would simply become more audacious instead of caught. The Zodiac wasn't happy with only murder. He started a horrible interaction with the media, writing letters to neighborhood publications like the San Francisco Chronicle. He challenged police and the public in these letters, asking them to capture him. Still, his messages included cryptograms and puzzles he said would expose his identity. Sent in 3 pieces to several publications, one of these ciphers was cracked by a high school instructor and his spouse. Its contents, "I like killing people because it is so much fun," were as horrific as his acts. Notwithstanding this communication, the encryption gave no hints about the Zodiac's identification. The game was just starting. The Zodiac got more confident and empowered with every letter. Though just 5 killings have been formally ascribed to him, he claimed to have killed up to 37 people. On September 27th, 1969, in Lake Berryessa, a peaceful area where couples frequently picnicked, his third attack occurred. Unaware they were being watched, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepherd were spending the day by the lake. A guy sporting a black executioner's hood with a crosshair emblem painted on his chest surfaced from the forest as the sun sank. He tied the pair together and then, in a dramatic break from his regular strategy of assault, stabbed them repeatedly. Cecilia passed from her wounds, but once more Brian lived and offered still another eyewitness story of the Zodiac. This strike was a turning moment. The Zodiac's use of a disguise and his readiness to personally approach his victims face to face revealed his changing need for power and terror. He had to scare his victims as well as the population at large. It was insufficient to murder. Just weeks later, on October 11th, 1969, the Zodiac shot and murdered Paul Stein, a San Francisco cab driver from the affluent Presidio Heights area. This time, the murderer chose an average man on his shift rather than young couples. The fact that this murder occurred directly in the center of a well-traveled area where witnesses might have readily seen him made it especially audacious. They did, in fact. Several witnesses claimed to have seen a guy cleaning the taxi before coolly leaving, but he had disappeared by the time cops showed up. The Zodiac then mailed a piece of Paul Stein's bloodied clothing to the San Francisco Chronicle, thereby mocking the authorities in a terrifying turnaround. The Zodiac was always one step ahead, always in control. The message was obvious. Left chasing shadows, investigators were frantically seeking to apprehend a killer who appeared to relish the excitement of the chase just as much as the killings themselves. The Zodiac Killer was well known by now, and his produced tangible anxiety. His mysterious letters, loaded with additional coded messages and violent threats, kept coming in. Law enforcement made great attempts, but the Zodiac never came across. Hundreds of suspects underwent investigation over years. Some appeared interesting. Arthur Lee Allen, for example, had a criminal record and fit the physical description of the Zodiac. Still, the trail would get chilly every time. Though none have definitely identified the Zodiac, DNA testing, handwriting analysis, and even contemporary forensic techniques have all been used in this case. The Zodiac Killer's mythology rose while the years went by and the case got colder. Solving the riddle has been attempted by true crime aficionados, amateur detectives, even professional investigators. Some think the Zodiac is still out there, having escaped capture for decades. Others believe he is long dead as he brought his secrets to the grave. New events, however, have lately sparked hope that the case may at last be solved. An independent inquiry team called the Case Breakers said in 2021 they had found the Zodiac Killer. They cited Gary Francis Poste, an Air Force veteran whose FBI secretly listed status as a suspect from 2016. Poste passed away in 2018, but the organization claims his partial DNA had been kept in an FBI facility in Quantico. They have even connected Poste to a possible sixth victim and claim his DNA might be connected to the Zodiac killings. Insisting that the case is still ongoing, the FBI has been reluctant to support these assertions. Nonetheless, the gang is convinced Poste is the Zodiac based on scars on his forehead that correspond with witness accounts and proof they say law enforcement has overlooked. In a further turn, Donna Lass, the bones of a possible Zodiac victim, were just discovered. Donna vanished in 1970, and for years her case was thought to have Zodiac connection. Her remains were found in 2024 via family DNA testing. Although this revelation gave her family some solace, researchers have not yet verified if she was truly another victim of the Zodiac. Now the issue is, will we ever really know the Zodiac Killer was? Alternatively, is his identification doomed to stay among the most unresolved riddle in criminal history? Modern forensic science promises to bring the truth to light finally as it develops. Those unresolved ciphers could be the secret to releasing the Zodiac's identity. Alternatively, as some say, the Zodiac was always more fascinated in the game than in being caught, thus deftly building a labyrinth of falsehoods and cryptic signals to keep researchers following ghosts. More than half a century after his murdering spree, the Zodiac Killer's narrative still fascinates and terrifies people. His capacity to elude detection, his mocking letters, and his cryptic puzzles have solidified him as among the most infamous serial killers in American history. We also be reminded that the case is not concluded with every fresh advancement. Although the Zodiac might have vanished, his shadow still hangs big over Northern California and over public awareness. Will contemporary technology at last deliver justice for the victims of the Zodiac, or will this riddle stay unresolved? One thing is certain, the Zodiac Killer succeeded in becoming remembered. He wanted to be known. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries. If this story intrigued you, show your support by giving this video a like and sharing it with fellow mystery lovers. It not only lets us know you enjoyed it, but also inspires our team to keep researching and bringing you even more captivating content. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to drop a comment below and join the conversation. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to join the Motion Mysteries community for more thrilling criminal stories. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next mystery.